If you decided one day to rank the worst business decisions in all of recorded human history, you'd have a lot of options to choose from. Maybe you'd go with Blockbuster's refusal to buy Netflix for the bargain price of $50 million, or you might point to all the publishers that passed on the first Harry Potter book. More recently, of course, there's Bud Light. There's also Target selling satanic merchandise that sexualizes children. Whatever comes to mind when you think of massive business failures, as of today, you should know that there's yet another contender for the throne of worst business decision in history, or at least for maybe one of the runner-up positions. And it's perhaps the most foreseeable financial disaster of all time. A couple of years ago, the lingerie store Victoria's Secret opted to replace its world-famous angels, their supermodels, with obese women and profoundly unhappy lesbian feminists. They literally hired Megan Rapinoe, the purple-haired soccer player, just to give you an idea of how sexless and androgynous the marketing became. Now, to anybody with two working eyes or a basic understanding of human sexuality, it was obvious from the beginning how this strategy would turn out. It would be a complete embarrassment to everybody associated with it. It would make millions of people dramatically less likely to buy products from Victoria's Secret because not very many people want to look like Megan Rapinoe or look at her. No offense to her, it's just the reality. But our moral superiors in the news industry didn't see it that way. 2 years ago, they were convinced that Victoria's Secret, with its bold decision to reject beauty and replace it with whatever they replaced it with, was about to bring about a sea change in human sexuality. They were going to fundamentally alter the entire concept of attractiveness in one fell swoop. So look at this footage of a local news station in Minnesota from back in 2021 covering this new initiative from Victoria's Secret. Listen to every moment of this because, honestly, it belongs in a time capsule. Watch.
Now to our Sunrise Live with a story gaining steam online. Victoria's Secret's changing their image, trying to answer the age-old question of what women really want. And apparently it's not wings or stilettos. Yeah, the company announcing their new initiative, the Victoria's Secret Collective, which includes women famous for their various achievements and not their proportions, like soccer star and gender equality advocate Megan Rapinoe and actress Priyanka Chopra Jonas. Now, the brand is looking to be more inclusive, bringing sexy back by representing real women that come in all shapes and sizes from all different backgrounds. The company is hoping these diverse leading icons and change makers are going to do just that. Now, as of late, the company's been viewed as outdated and has been accused of fostering a sexist brand image. But now the company's executive team is mostly all women. Martin Waters, who's chief executive of the brand, said we needed to stop being about what men want and to be about what women want. And folks, of course, sounding off this person here writing in saying that was never made by women for women. It was what men wanted women to be. And another writes, the sexy underwear garbage was always about satisfying the male fantasy. It had nothing to do with women at all. So I think it's an interesting shift. And last but not least, this one here from Sharon saying no problem with angels, just the lack of comfort, size, diversity, and fit. So you guys, yeah, I feel like after going through a lot of the comments, a lot of people are saying it's about time they changed their image.
Yeah, I mean, the world has evolved and women know, and we've known this for a long time. We come in all shapes, sizes, colors, so I think this is a good move.
So Victoria's Secret is bringing sexy back, says one of the newsreaders, quoting the great Justin Timberlake, and then comes the anchor woman to tell us what to make of all this. The world has evolved, she says. And now in this enlightened era, we've made an astonishing discovery. And that discovery, says the anchorwoman, is that women come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Imagine that. I mean, before the year 2021, nobody knew that women were individuals instead of complete carbon copies of one another. We didn't know about that. In fact, we just figured out a couple of years ago after all this time. And therefore, the anchorwoman concludes it's a good move by Victoria's Secret to feature a bunch of women who are morbidly obese in their advertising. Now, for a moment, if you can, forget about the stupidity and the ignorance of what all these people are saying. Pretend that local news stations aren't completely brainless collections of NPCs who just read whatever script they're given. Focus instead on the sheer hubris of it. I mean, what you have here is a media outlet proudly proclaiming, without any hesitation, that all of human history got it wrong. What this anchor was saying and what Victoria's Secret was saying is that the innate sexual impulses of millions of Americans can be basically reprogrammed overnight. Their conception of aesthetics and beauty is, not inherent. It can be easily changed. And all people have to do, she's saying, is accept their internalized misogyny and promise to be good allies to corporate America and unattractive women everywhere. And then soon enough, they'll come to believe that fat lesbian women are attractive. Now, fast forward just 2 years into the future, and it goes without saying that this master plan to re-engineer all of human sexuality has failed from an empirical perspective. In 2020, the year before this campaign began, Victoria's Secret posted $7.5 billion in revenue. This year, the company is projected to hit just $6.2 billion in revenue. Their stock price is down something like 50%. That's 50 in the past year. As a result, predictably, this week, CNN reported that Victoria's Secret is in panic mode, and they're reversing course. Quote, "The Victoria's Secret rebrand is over." That was a CNN's headline. CNN then quoted the company's chief executive as saying, quote, "Despite everyone's best endeavors, it's not been enough to carry the day." So this new master plan has collapsed. It's not viable. They're losing a huge amount of money, and so they're giving up. None of that's surprising. I mean, any normal human being could have predicted this outcome a long time ago. What's interesting about this whole situation is that Victoria's Secret chief executive and their friend at CNN desperately don't want to talk about the key question underlying all of this. And that key question is, why did this initiative fail exactly? You can understand at some level why Victoria's Secret wants to punt on that question. They don't want to accuse their customers of being sexist pigs who objectify women. But they also don't want to go into any great detail about why they thought this rebrand was a good idea in the first place. So they're just papering over the whole thing. But it's not that simple. And everybody involved in this catastrophe knows that. The truth is that, Victoria's Secret did not go rogue. They didn't make some uniquely poor business decision. It was a poor business decision, but not unique. Instead, they were doing what the rest of the fashion industry and the media are doing. They were following in the footsteps of Target and Bud Light, or Calvin Klein, who started using morbidly obese underwear models a few years ago. And many other fashion companies, look at runways now. And it's like, you see characters that you would have seen in in sideshow freak shows in the past on runways. You may remember this billboard from Calvin Klein. This is a, morbidly obese woman on the billboard. It's all social engineering. They wanted to redefine what heterosexual males find attractive. They thought they had that power because, they know best. And they truly believe their customers are stupid and impressionable. And they thought they could transform them into pronoun-toting lefties and do it pretty easily. A lot of major media corporations still subscribe to this God complex, by the way. Take Maxim magazine, for example. This is a publication that used to be dedicated to printing pictures of scantily clad women, so it was never really a high-quality magazine to begin with. But what are they up to lately? As the Daily Wire reports, Maxim magazine named a biological male and former Australian rules football player Danielle Laidley to its hottest 100 women list in Australia for 2023, with the trans-identifying man landing in the number 92 spot. Laidley, who played and coached in the Australian Football League, joined actress Margot Robbie on the hot list, who was named the hottest woman for the 4th time. Now, for the record, and, just for your own edification, if you're wondering, here is Danielle Laidley.
I was in the 1.8% of transgender people who hid it from the world. Be vulnerable, find some people who you can trust, who you can talk to, and they'll support you, and invariably, everything will be okay.
I told my truth, which was, to help Dad out and tell her story the best way that I could.
There's the son there, having to pretend to be proud. And that was ranked by Maxim to be one of the top 100 hottest women. And what was it, 92, right? So can you imagine if you were the woman who landed at 93 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Like, can you imagine making it on the list below him? Now, there's no point in being cruel here. Let's just state this as objectively as we possibly can. A men's magazine that used to be dedicated to scantily clad women is now trying to convince us that a dude who looks like a middle school gym teacher is not only a chick, but a hot chick who we should find attractive. They're trying to gaslight heterosexual males into being something other than heterosexual males, just like Victoria's Secret was trying to do. It's laughable and nobody takes it seriously. It will fail like the Victoria's Secret campaign failed. But the financial implications of all this are irrelevant in the big scheme of things. What's really interesting about these debacles is what they tell us about the dominant ideology among American leftists. That for one thing, they really think they're gods. They believe that millennia of human development are not important. Leftists truly believe that they have the power to alter something as fundamental as human sexuality. They think they can convince women that deep down they want to be fat and unappealing. As the chief executive of Victoria's Secret put it, quote, we needed to stop being about what men want and want to be one about what women want. But the truth is, women don't want to be gross or obese or unhealthy. They have agency, regardless of how aggressively the supposed feminists in corporate America want to deny it. And from the past 2 years and from all of human history before that, it's clear that women do value the ideal of beauty. They aspire to it just like men do. And the more people of either gender are told to rebel against those basic instincts, the more they inevitably rebel against the charlatans who are lying to them about it. You ever get the feeling that someone's watching you, like even when there's no one else in the room? Well, now I know you're probably thinking it's Halloween season, you're just being paranoid, but when it comes to your online activity, there is someone watching everything you do, and that someone is your internet service provider. Every website you visited, how much time you've spent on each, they know all of it, and that's why I use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app that we all need to be using. See, in the US, internet service providers are legally allowed to sell all of their users' browsing activity to advertisers. And it's not just them. Your network admin, whether that's at your school or workplace, they can see everything you click on as well. But with ExpressVPN, 100% of your traffic is rerouted through their encrypted servers so no one can see anything. My favorite part is how ExpressVPN is very simple to use. You open up the app, you tap one button, and that's it. It's that easy. And ExpressVPN, it works on all your devices, whether you browse the internet on your phone, tablet, or computer. You can use up to 5 devices at the same time under one ExpressVPN subscription. So stop letting people invade your privacy. Visit expressvpn.com/Walsh. Use my link to get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/Walsh, expressvpn.com/Walsh. For Victoria's Secret, this has been a very costly but important lesson. For everyone else on the far left, this would be what Barack Obama calls a teachable moment. They could choose to stop denying the innate differences among the sexes. They could decide to stop pretending that they can override thousands of years of human evolution. They could choose instead to embrace humility and common sense, if only for their own self-interest. Or these companies can continue on their quest to convince Americans that somehow they don't actually find beauty attractive. Victoria's Secret and Maxim and Calvin Klein and every other company that believes it can change human nature through woke scolding and sanctimonious TV news hits, they can continue to thrust obesity and other forms of ugliness in our faces and insist that we pretend they're attractive. If they go down that path, they'll continue to bleed money. No matter how much they're promoted on MSNBC and The View, they'll lose billions more dollars. Until they come to terms with reality and they renounce their attempts to re-engineer human psychology and sexuality, they will suffer. They'll hemorrhage employees and money. They'll wage a losing battle against human nature itself. And they will remain indefinitely canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.